Welcome to the Rat Race to 5 podcast, where we discuss money, mindset, real estate investing, and ways to achieve financial independence. Whether you are a rookie or a veteran needing new ideas for investing or creating side hustles, you're in the right place. Here to challenge you to think out of the box, your hosts, Felipe Mejia and Diego Corzo.
Diego, what's up, man? Super excited to have you here today. We have an awesome guest, Tereva, all the way from Hawaii, but that is not where she was born, and I'll let her tell her story. I really like that she was telling us about like kind of the struggles that she's been through and how she overcame some of those. And then she wholesaled a property to her business partner, and now how she's growing now and empowering women in Hawaii through dance. It's a really cool story.
Yeah, and also one of my favorite things too is how even though she took classes and everything on real estate, what actually got her to take action was accountability. And that is super important when you're starting out as an investor.
Yeah, I agree. I also like that she said like in her first wholesale deal, she just reinvested all of that money back into her business, which is huge because that takes a lot of self-discipline, because I don't know that that's what I would have done with my first check. So I think that's super, super powerful. Everyone that's listening, make sure you listen to the end. She's got some really good stories. Before we get started though, today's podcast is definitely sponsored by the boys over at REI Call Center. If you are a realtor or a wholesaler, make sure that you reach the boys at REI Call Center, getting consistent hot leads through the list that you skip trace. All right, let's jump in. So Tereva, it's Felipe and Diego. Thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. I always like to start with people's name. Can you tell us the long version? Because I really liked the way you said it. I'm definitely going to slaughter it, and then tell us what you would like us to call you.
Okay, so the long version is Tereva Haunui. It's a Tahitian name. I don't have a middle name. The short version is Tereva. However, I would say 90% of people call me T.
What do you like to be called? What is that?
Usually Tereva.
Tereva?
Yeah. Because over here, like Tita is a lot of people are called T. This is my T. This is my sister. So that tends to go for everyone in the room. So Tereva makes it pretty specific.
I like that. My sister's name is Citlali Yunuen Mejia. We've always just called her Lolly. And very recently, she's changing more to, she wants people to call her by her name, Citlali. And she's like, whether you can say it right or wrong is irrelevant. That's my name, and I would love to be called. And at first I was like, well, that's kind of like, I understand where she's coming from, because her name is not Lolly. Her name is Citlali, and she wants to be called that way. And I think that's cool. So I was like, more power. So I was like, what would you want to be called? So Tereva, I love it. We're going to go with that.
Tereva's good. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? You have a decent following, a really good following on Instagram. I love your post. It's funny because I love your Instagram because it's very colorful and color coordinated. Mine is all over the place. So what do you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So about me, originally from Tahiti, I now live in Maui. I've been on Maui for almost 18 years. I literally graduated from high school in Tahiti and then moved to Maui at 18 years old. Always been interested more or less from far away in real estate investing, but I really got serious in 2017, investing in an educational program or mentorship. Didn't take action until 2020. Today, I'm very serious about real estate investing. In 2018, January of 2018, I also opened a dance school here, an all-girl dance school here on Maui. Dancing is the first love of my life. It's Tahitian dancing. I did it, 7 days a week from the age of 13 through 18 years old, and just kind of carried that over. I come from a very cultural family, bilingual at home. And so my Tahitian culture is really rooted in me. I got here, did a lot of like the luau scenes, if you've been in Hawaii. So I've always been a performer. And in 2018, decided to open a dance school to kind of pass that knowledge on. That literally happened right after my mom passed away. So did that, and wanted to give my dance school to dedicate to my dance school. And, after a couple of years, I kind of got the hang of it. I kind of understood what I wanted to do with it. Then I was able to focus on real estate investing. So today I do real estate investing and I teach dancing.
Nice. So you teach dance, you do real estate investing, and first and foremost, sorry regarding your mom. I heard you say that she had passed away, so I'm sorry about that. What made you move though from where you were born and to Hawaii? It's what's that story?
I was a senior in high school and I met this Maui boy who was here winter break, or who was in Tahiti for winter break. We met, did the long distance thing. Then I would come to visit here. Then he would come to Tahiti to visit. Then we just kind of had to make a decision. It was either I would go to college in France and be far away, or I would move to Maui and see where this was going. So I followed my heart. No regrets. And we're super good friends. We're on really, really good terms. I'm no longer with him. We were together just short of 10 years, no children together, separated on really, really good terms. And yeah. And then today we each have our families. We're both doing well. So basically a boy brought me to Maui.
That's a lot of people's stories. Either they want the beach or the boy, or I guess the girl. So
I got both. I got the beach and the boy.
Yeah, and now you still have the beach. So there you go.
Yeah,
no, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit. Your dance studio. Can you want to tell us a little bit more about that? I'd love to hear because we love to dance as well. So a lot of people don't know this, but Diego is an avid salsa dancer. He's a professional. He teaches salsa.
Not professional.
He is a professional. He's humble.
I love dance.
If you're coming to the Rat Race to Fight conference in Austin for 2021 goal setting, he's going to give out, we're going to have a salsa class. So we love to dance. I love to dance bachata. I grew up dancing it with my sister, going to parties just to dance. Like people go to get drunk and do all these things. Me and my sister went to dance because we love to dance. It's deep in our roots. So tell us a little bit more about your love for dance and why the school and how you're impacting young women's lives doing that.
Mm-hmm. So I was born in it. I have two much older siblings who were dancers. My mom is a dancer. At home, we only spoke Tahitian. So I was born in it, in the culture. And I discovered dancing, or my love and passion for dancing, at 13 years old, which is later than most girls. I did that, loved it so much. It wasn't until I, got out of all of that, and I came here and I was just doing dancing as more of a job, instead of, learning. It was more of a job. And I just kind of realized that my love and passion for dancing gave me so much balance growing up. Although I danced 5 to 7 days a week, whether it was shows or practices, rehearsals and all that, it really gave me balance, and it kept me away from a lot of trauma, that, a lot of things that could have happened. Drugs, alcohol. I grew up in a bit of domestic violence. I'm going to say that dancing was a total escape, total escape. And I don't know how I was able to manage school and dancing, but I did. So when my mom passed away in 2017 is when it kind of, I don't know, woke me up or something. I've always been asked to teach dancing. I would do shows. We would put on shows, create things, enter competitions. And I love it. I love creating choreographies. I love dancing. And after my mom passed away, it kind of hit me like, okay, there's no longer like two generations. It's me now. And I kind of felt like it's time to pass this on. Like, you've got to teach and share everything you inherited from your mom, your family, and share as much as you can. So it started super small. It was just one day a week teaching for a couple of hours, and it grew and it grew and it grew. So I would say like my advantage is I'm the only Tahitian person, and I've have so many years of dancing here on Maui. And I still dance today. I still perform. I'm knowledgeable in the language. Did a lot of training. So I would say, I think that's why my dance school grew. So I don't know, we started at maybe 20, 30 students. We're at 70 now. Wow. 3 days of teachings a week. We enter competitions. We do some traveling. And it's, I didn't expect the response, but I didn't expect little girls to like just love it, to love me, to dedicate so much. At first I thought, just teach dancing, the steps and see. But I saw potential. Initially, I told myself, we're never going to enter competitions, like it's so much pressure for these kids. And then I'm like, you have way too much potential. Let's put you in competitions, So we did some traveling before COVID. And then during COVID, we would do a lot of virtual dance competitions, record videos, submit your videos. And then, we kind of got that momentum. And I just, as far as dancing as a teacher, I get to teach, but I get to learn a lot as well. And I actually love that I hold myself at a high standard. I'm really careful about what I do, because I have these 7-year-olds looking up to me, and not like I do anything wrong, but I'm extra careful, right? What I put out on social media, all of that. So I'm definitely growing because I decided to share my dance knowledge.
That's really nice, because it also, with the dance community, you're also creating a community, right? Yeah. Like with everything that you have. That's really cool. Now, what you mentioned in 2017, you took a class or like some course in real estate, and then you went into dance. So you didn't take any action, but on that until 2020. But what got you interested on the real estate while you were doing the dancing?
Okay. Raised by a single mom, she had 2 brothers who owned a few rental properties on Maui. And she always told me, like randomly, she's like, yes, your uncles are really good businessmen. And she see this home, that's your uncle's, but he rents it out. And, she just like, it wasn't very specific. So I kind of always grew up with that knowledge, like, okay, there's something in real estate. Mm-hmm. In early 2017, the mentorship Fortune Builders came through the island. So I did like the free workshop and then the 3-day workshop, and then ended up applying for their mentorship. Shortly after, my mom's passing happened, and I couldn't focus much, right? I went through having to deal with that, having been raised by a single mom, like she's everything, your pillar, so that kind of impacted me quite a bit. And I did not want to have anything to do with real estate. I needed to focus on my mom. I needed to focus on coping with it, which I think the dance school just ended up being my therapy, really helping get over that. So 2017, yes, I get into the mentorship. I did all the learning. I love learning, love education, period. As long as it's a subject that I'm interested in, I kind of go full on. There's no stopping. So yeah, that's how it kind of gave me a lot of knowledge, a lot of tools, contracts, sales training, analyzing, deal analysis. I'm huge on numbers, and numbers speak to me a lot better than people, I would say. So I'm in spreadsheets all the time.
Cool.
Interesting.
And so what got you then in 2020? Like, how did you find your first deal? What was the situation with that one?
End of 2019, my husband and I had this serious conversation about me doing too much and not being around for my daughter. She was 7 years old then. It was like drop off pickup, go to job number 1, then head to job number 2. I wouldn't see my family pretty much Monday through Saturday, here and there, the pickups and the drop offs. So at the end of 2019, my husband basically told me, you've got a dance school, you're trying to do real estate, and you have a W-2 job, and you've got all of this going on. Can you please, for the sake of our family and our daughter, can you please slow down, drop something, whatever that is, drop something. So we decided that I would drop my W-2, completely leave, or drop down to part-time or something. So we start 2020 with that, and, talk to my employer. This is the plan. I can either stay or leave, all good. We're all on good terms. And literally the week that I dropped down to 1 day a week of my job is the week that we all went into a shutdown. So now now school's at home. My daughter's at home all day. It really worked out. And also the very week that we kind of plan all of this and we go into a shutdown, Zasha contacts me. Like, Zasha and I had just met once or twice at a meetup and then had lunch or something. She was trying to get really serious in it. And in her mentorship, they had given her the assignment to find an accountability partner. So she's texting all of the kind of like investors here on Maui. And she's like, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner. Do you know anyone? I get that text. The next week, I'm about to like drop my W-2. I'm like, pick me. I want to do this, and that would be perfect. Like the perfect timing here. Boom. So like, shutdown happens. She's at my house once, twice, 3 times a week. We live a minute from each other. So that's how it started. Accountability with Zasha. It started as accountability only. And then I focused my marketing to what she would buy, because she was more experienced. She had a buying power. And I was like, you know what? I'll just market to what you want. Like, that'll give me a lot of confidence when I speak to sellers, potential sellers. I can negotiate. I'm really good with numbers and all that. So it kind of worked out because she didn't have time to do marketing. She kind of had deals going on and projects. So we ended up one day randomly doing some driving for dollars. We found this, we go through, we have a list of like 20 houses. I come home, send all the letters, print, sign, mail them out. Within a week, this one guy calls me. He's like, hey, I'm ready. We're like, okay, let's, we need to come by your house, look at it, do a walkthrough. He's like, all right, come by. So Zasha and I go by. So essentially it was a driving for dollars deal. And that was my first wholesale to Zasha.
Nice.
That's the first deal.
Yeah, good for you. So driving for dollars, Zasha, you got it under contract. You did it her. What did Zasha do with it?
She held it. It became really good. Yep. It became a really good buy and hold. It was a 2-story. So, ended up being like its own unit at the top. And then she transformed the lower level as its own unit. And she is now, so it's been like over a year that she's had it. Now she's able, the lot is big enough that she can build 1 or 2 more dwellings on it. So she's, kind of turning it into a multi-family.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay. So have you guys done more deals since then? What's kind of you and Zasha's history going forward after that first one?
Yeah. So after that first one, I continued marketing and I'm like, all right, so here you go. You got your project. I'm going to continue marketing and find the next deal. found the next deal towards the end of 2020. Wholesaled it to her. It fit her buying box, right? And then with the earnings, I decided to just keep the earnings of my two wholesale deals within the business, because I wanted to grow the marketing. I wanted to kind of have a VA, because cold calling with my little phone, like, that I couldn't get through to enough people, and also having a child at home full time, like it wasn't the easiest thing. So reinvested all of the wholesaling money or earnings back into the business and into education. So I joined another mentorship at the end of 2020. And then I kind of felt ready. So the agreement with Zasha was I would wholesale to her, but I wanted to continue learning about project management, managing tenants, and she always was willing to share all of that, right? And then I got 2 more deals this year, so we're into 2021 now. We got 2 more deals. From the first one was a short sale. It's actually a deal that came to her, and she just kind of sent me the lead, and she's like, look into this. We ended up pushing through a short sale. We made that happen. And it was actually a hotel. So we just did a major cleanup of the lot, and another investor bought it from us. And they're actually going to like subdivide the lot or something. We're not too sure what they're doing. They're still doing the construction. The next deal was a very light fix and flip. We just kind of brought the place up to 2021. So on those deals, we did JV partnerships, 50-50 split on those next 2 deals. And then through my own marketing, I also found my first rental property. It was a bit too high for her buying criteria. So I ended up taking it on. I felt like, okay, it's time to kind of get some deals under your belt, Tereva, do the learning. And it's actually in a complex building here that a lot of investors invest in. Easy not fix and flip, but easy renovations, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, under 800 square foot. So I was like, okay, let me get into this one and learn how to, deal with tenants, how to sort of manage little repairs here and there. But luckily I'm definitely cash flowing. It still worked out. And right after I got it, the values of that complex, the values going up and up and up right now with this market. So I walked away with some equity. So that was my first BRRRR. I literally did the refi maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We closed on the refi. So first successful BRRRR.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like the evolution that you've gone through from wholesaling, right, with a partner, or you wholesale it to Sasha, and then later she becomes a partner too, where you JV, and then now you're doing your own, how you buy, rehab, and all that stuff. Yeah. What made sense for you from going from wholesaling deals to her to saying, hey, let's do a JV now?
What made sense? One, there was more profit. And 2, I was going to be more involved in the transaction part of it, dealing with agents, MLS, and reviewing offers. I felt more ready to look into those. And because they wouldn't work as buy and holds, it had to be sort of a fix and flip. And also, we acquired it with hard money and private, and I did not have those connections. So I kind of needed to JV on that. So Zasha handled all of the money. I handled everything else. The bookkeeping, managing or kind of coordinating the vendors, the pictures, dealing with agents, so I got to learn a lot. So I kind of focused 2021 on learning, growing. Yeah. I did not need what they call it, like the home run. I was okay with base hits.
That's awesome.
I just didn't want to lose money, basically, right? So even if I made a tiny profit or I'm cash flowing tiny, it's all good. I really want to learn. And it worked out.
I think that's where a lot of investors kind of mess up. They expect their first deal to be a home run, or they expect their first burr or cash. They want cash flow $1,000 their first time, and a lot of times I think as investor and a newbie investor, when they first come into the game, they need to realize that base hits are completely okay, because the wisdom and the lessons learned from that base hit is what's going to drive you home. And though that's what you want. It's like you said, I just didn't want to lose money. If I can just not lose money, that, in my opinion, is a home run in your first deal. You didn't lose money on something you brand new at. There's accredited investors, professional investors, Diego and I, who still have lost money on deals, now. So you not losing money is not like just a base hit. I still think that's still a home run. It's the first time you got up there to bat and you got on base. It counts. I think that's awesome.
I didn't need the 500 or 1,000 monthly cash flow. I was okay with minimal,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what's good about that too is that it allows you to get over that analysis paralysis that sometimes it can take people years, like 5 years or whatever, just because they're wanting to hit those numbers rather than getting the experience and still get a little bit of profit. Or
just getting started, right? Like it's sometimes it's just about getting started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I definitely had that analysis paralysis. And it's not until I could devote time and I had an accountability partner that I got over that. It's like, okay, it still works. I don't need that home run. I don't. Yeah. A lot of mentorships talk about a 10% ROI. Great, 10% ROI. But I mean, when you look at it, if it's just a 2-month project, you hit 8% ROI, that's still good. You weren't in there for 12 months, like trying to hit your 10%, like you got an 8% ROI in 2 months. That's amazing. So
exactly.
I kind of, it's all of that and learning from different people, networking, and getting everyone's feedback. It allows you to see broader than what the textbook says.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I also liked about what you said earlier was that you did those 2 wholesale deals, but you reinvested it back into the business. And that is something that not many people do. They get the money. They're like, all right, I'm going to Vegas, or I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to get this car or whatever.
It was hard.
Decided to create a business out of it.
It was hard because I started with over 100K of debt. It was hard not to pay down that debt, not to make not to pay a big chunk down.
What did you use the money for?
So I got a VA. I would pull lists and skip trace, right? Like I would get things that are paid for, basically paid marketing, got the dialer, multi-line dialer, skip tracing, CRM. We're still on the free CRM. I don't have enough leads to need like a big CRM, but so I got one VA. She works 4 days a week.
Cold calling, I'm assuming.
Cold calling and texting, yes. Ooh. And then we got the platform to pull list, skip trace, text. We got the dialer. That's kind of the machine right now. And I just feel like I felt good reinvesting into that to keep the lead generation going and kind of slowly get me out of the lead generation so I could focus on networking, partnerships, raising capital. And I can do the things that nobody else can do for me here, like driving for dollars and talking to homeowners directly, right? Like I want to be able to do that. So I was able to kind of take myself out of the lead generation marketing. So that's what the money was mainly for. And I knew that reinvesting into the marketing would get me more leads, therefore more capital, more deals, basically. So, and it worked out. It worked out. But it was hard not to try and put money towards the debt. But again, I knew there would have been a 5 or 6 figure profit someday that would take out a big chunk of that debt. I walked on faith on that one. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was going to work because it's worked for other people. And, a lot of other people have shared with me, like, of course we're in debt, like we have to invest a lot of our personal money when we first started. So yeah, it'll work out. Just do the thing. You will get your big check. You will be able to get rid of all of that eventually, trust the process. So I listened and I'm glad I did.
Good for you. I think a lot of times people are afraid of managing debt. Now, we're not saying go out and get into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, but we are saying that like you as a real estate investor, there does come a point where you say, I have to continue to invest in my business because this is going to pay off. Don't have the quick fix, if you will, right? So, you investing in yourself definitely paid off. I think most investors have that, like I maxed out my credit card situation, or I sold my car to do this, right? And now I'm not saying go out there and do these things, but know your risk tolerance. And sometimes as investors, I feel like we have a higher risk tolerance and we're willing to kind of go a little bit more than the average person. And that, I think, is what sets us apart. Tereva, I think that's what's going to set you apart. You're going to continue to grow. That's what I was going to ask you. What are your goals for next year? How do you plan on scaling next year? Your rentals, your wholesaling, just your business in general. How do you feel on scaling next year?
For next year, so the goal for fourth quarter was to kind of set things up for next year. I got into out-of-state investing. I have 2 properties now in Indy, and the cash flow is a lot better than here for a lower entry. So I'm really liking out-of-state investing right now. So I'm going to grow the out-of-state portfolio of buy and holds. We're going to grow that. I'm looking a little bit into commercial spaces. Just right now, just kind of learning, asking a few questions. And so that would be in 2022. And in 2022, we're going to continue doing some fix and flips here in the islands. We're looking to provide more housing, good housing situations for our local community, looking to help them out of tough situations. We are under contract for a property on Oahu. It's going to be a short sale as well. It'll be a lot of work, but we're up for the challenge, and I'm doing a JV partnership with other investors that you actually just interviewed last week, I think. Kamoha and Tristan. Yeah, we're going to do a JV on that with them because they're way more familiar with that market. So my job is to get through that short sale and get the number where we need it to be. After that, we may have to deal with some squatters. And then after that, we'll get into the renovation and the beautification of that place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
now, a question for you regarding the out-of-state investing.
Yeah.
Are you using the same systems, right? Like the cold calling, because you already have some of the systems in place. Are you using that also, not just for Hawaii, but also for your out-of-state investing?
No, I'm not. No. I thought about it since, okay, I'm super familiar with marketing. Like, let's put my VA there. But I love wholesalers. Like, they bring you deals in your inbox. You literally just tell them where, how much, where you need to be. Mm-hmm. And, they just send you things. So I was able to connect with wholesalers, was able to connect with agents, and they're, it's already kind of starting to flow. And again, that's another reason, like, here I get motivated leads. With my marketing budget is small for here in Hawaii. So I get motivated leads maybe once every other month. But over there, I get motivated or good deals in my inbox, 5 days a week. So I love it. And it's really easy. Rentometer is really accurate over there. So It's not as accurate here on Maui, at least. So it's so easy to analyze deals in like 10, 15 minutes, I was able to make good connections. I talk to a project manager every day, agents almost every day. So so the way different strategy over there.
Mm-hmm. And how are you able to fund those deals over there?
Over there, it's hard money and private. Yeah, private to come up with gap funding and or rehab.
Okay.
Yeah, money.
And then after that, you pay them back and you keep the property yourself.
Correct. Refinance, conventional. So I just make sure that purchase and rehab puts me at 70% of the projected ARV. All conservative, right? Always analyze conservatively. And then refinance out. So that's the plan. I haven't refinanced out of one. I've got one property we've closed on. We're mid renovations right now. The other property we're closing in a week and a half. Okay. So then we're going to get into the renovations there. So I'm also learning a lot there. And the thing is, I don't want to make mistakes, but I'm okay making mistakes. I'm still doing the thing. I'm still taking action. And this is pretty massive action for like small island girl going out of state, talking to total strangers every day. Right. But everyone's been super nice over there. I got a lot of contacts from other investors here in Hawaii who invest in D, simple conversations. What do you recommend? Who do you recommend? Basically word of mouth, how we're building there. Yeah.
As you're investing out of state and all of that stuff, your team is one of the most important things, especially since you cannot be there every single day.
Key. Yes.
Makes perfect sense. Tereva, thank you so much for spending this hour with us. I can't wait to see your growth. I'm going to continue to follow you on Instagram. I think you're doing great things. Kudos to you for empowering women to dance and invest. I think we need more women investors. I think it's empowering. I think it's awesome what you're doing. You're crushing it. We know Zasha. We've talked to her as well. So I think you guys' partnership is awesome. I can't wait to see you guys continue to grow, flip, and do all of the things. I know people that are listening are going to reach out to you in regards to out-of-state investing. So that being said, where can people find you?
Easiest way is on Instagram. Tereva Deals and Dance is my IG handle. Cool. I'm also huge on normalizing money conversations at home and abundance mindset around money. Huge on providing, simple tools for our children to grow into adulthood and have good habits. I'm huge on that, showing my daughter anything and everything I possibly can, whether she likes it or not, complains about it. It's fine. Little
She'll
habits.
Appreciate it later.
Yeah. Little habits.
I get it. I love it. Yeah. Well, Tereva, thank you so much for jumping on here. Is there anything else you want to say before we jump out of here?
To anyone listening, I would say put fear aside, do the work. It will pay off no matter what your circumstances are.
I love that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye, Tereva.
Bye.
The Rat Race to 5 podcast, where we discuss money, mindset, real estate investing, and ways to achieve financial independence. Whether you are a rookie or a veteran needing new ideas for investing or creating side hustles, you're in the right place.